Welcome to Norway. This country is located in northern Europe at a latitude-longitude of 61 degrees north, 8 degrees east. This country is home to many natural phenomena such as the Saltström and Maelstrom. The Saltström and Maelstrom is the world's strongest tidal current. Every 6 hours, 400 million cubic meters of water at speeds of up to 20 knots rush through the 150-meter wide and 3-kilometer long sound connecting the Salten Fjord and the Skirset Fjord. Rafting on the Saltström and Maelstrom is one of Norway's biggest tourist attractions, and it gives people a chance to see this phenomenon up close. One of the other natural phenomena present in northern Norway is the Northern Lights. Also known as Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights are a result of electrons colliding with the upper reaches of Earth's atmosphere. In these collisions, the electrons transfer their energy to the atmosphere, thus exciting the atoms and molecules to higher energy states. When they relax back down to lower energy states, they release their energy in the form of light. It's really ridiculously pretty.
Norway's most famous natural phenomenon is their fjords. Much of Scandinavia was covered in glaciers during the last glacial maximum, which resulted in a number of interesting landforms occurring when the glaciers retreated. The most dramatic landform is the fjord, formed when the glacier carves out a valley between cliffs. Then the valley is filled with seawater as the glacier recedes. There are over 200 fjords along the Norwegian coastline. It's formed just like Meek's Point, just a lot more dramatic. The biomes today are mostly boreal forest and Arctic tundra, but these biomes, combined with the land formations that are fjords and the Scandinavian mountains, make for some of the most beautiful natural formations in the world. Geirangerfjord is one of the more popular locations for tourism, as it's considered one of the most beautiful fjords in Norway, and is on UNESCO's list of World Heritage Sites. It has cliffs that rise up to 1,400 meters above sea level, falling directly into the water-filled valleys 500 meters below sea level. Dotting these huge cliffs are huge waterfalls running down to the rivers below, making for some spectacular scenery. It's also really ridiculously beautiful. These immediate drastic differences are a result of the glacier formations mentioned earlier. The carved out bedrock that forms these cliff walls is composed largely of gneiss, which looks spectacular but renders the soil rather poor for agriculture. Not only are there the beautiful natural scenes above the water, but there are also unique formations underwater as well. Marine moraines, more evidence of glacial formations, can be found sporadically in the submerged valleys in the fjord. These moraines were formed when the glaciers started receding and left the till behind. When the seawater began to fill in the valleys left behind by the receding glaciers, the moraines were submerged, leaving behind a beautiful marine landscape to match the one above the water. The waters here provide an excellent habitat for over 76 species, such as seals and otters. Some of the marine life is usually found in much deeper water, but find the shallower fjords to be a suitable habitat as well. In Geirangerfjord, the interaction between humans and the landscape has been minimal. There are only 2 towns in the area, and although there is a high amount of tourism traffic that comes through here, they are kept in designated areas and don't affect the nature. There is a very conscious effort made in the area to keep the fjord from turning into a plagial climax. The only threat to the area is a quarry operating outside the fjord limits. It doesn't majorly affect the beauty, but is still a point of concern for those who are trying to minimize the human damage done to the area. The natural beauty of the Norwegian fjords would have been impossible without the glaciers that had covered the area, as when they receded from Norway, they carved up the land.
Fjords attract a lot of tourism, which increases Norway's GDP, and therefore their HDI, which were the highest in the world last year, according to the UN's Human Development Report. Another reason that Norway is such an attractive country is because of its natural resources. Norway is home to copper, lead, timber, and natural gas. In fact, Norway is the world's 3rd largest exporter of petroleum. This connects to APES because it relates to HDI, specifically GDP. These natural resources serve as a main component of the Norwegian economy and increase the GDP, allowing Norway to have such high HDI. These resources are not renewable, which means that as resources deplete, their GDP may fall and their HDI may not be as high in the future unless they turn to renewable sources of energy rather than petroleum. Another reason why Norway is such an attractive country is that they place a very high value on sustainability. Norway's 3 top sources of electricity consist of hydroelectric, geothermal, and wind. Sustainability is also very important as it pertains to fishing, one of their main industries. Recently, following periods of stock collapses in a number of important fisheries, the Norwegian government has prioritized this industry's sustainability. One of the things the Norwegian government is attempting to do is set a maximum catch quota. This quota will ensure that the fish population off the coast of Norway does not reach dangerously low levels. This is to ensure that a mesopredator release does not occur. A mesopredator release is a type of trophic cascade that would change the dynamic of Norway's marine life in many different ways, specifically affecting the populations of other marine life. For example, when fish numbers are low, this causes lower level consumers, like plankton, to increase in population. Decrease in the fish population also decreases the population of apex predators like sharks, because there are less fish for them to prey on. This is why setting quotas on fishing is very important to the environment.
Norway is one of the most spectacular places on Earth, with its unique combination of natural formations with a well-developed country, and if you ever get the chance to visit, we hope you make the right choice and go to Norway.